Hello everyone, it's Gweakles, and I'm in the middle of trying to pack up my apartment with the things that I'm not going to need for a couple of months. I'm going to put it in storage, but basically, just to give you an update, I am going to move in with my mom for a little bit, a couple months. The market is really bad right now for renting apartments because the snowbirds are down. Obviously, I'm working on my health as well as taking care of Phoebe. And just a quick update, Phoebe has lymphoma. It's in her intestines. She just started on her chemo this week. She's been eating a little more, but she's incredibly thin, and I'm just taking it one day at a time with her. There's no masses, but the cancerous cells are in her intestines, and it's not good and it's not bad. So just thinking positive thoughts, and I appreciate you all being so patient with me. But as a special treat, and since I'm here and I have all day to finish this up, most of my room is pretty much gone anyway, save for some things that I might have to take down. But I'm just tossing all my stuff into a box, and I found my college portfolio. So I just wanted to make a quick little video, just something to upload and show you guys about like my old work and how far I've come. And just look at a couple of pieces because I thought it would be neat since this is gonna go into storage, but I want to upload a video for you guys. I'm dying to make art. I've been dying to make art all week. All I've been doing is going back and forth to puppy appointments and this apartment and packing and trying to get everything settled. So let's do something fun for a couple minutes and look at my college level style artwork. Okay, so basically I have everything in this giant portfolio that was given to me, I believe, when I started school. And I'm just going to pull out a couple of pieces. It's going to take too long to do this, but this is one of my favorites. This is, as some of you may know, Robot Unicorn Land. And I believe the assignment was to show like an entire land or like a landscape. So I basically took the level of Robot Unicorn Land and everything that was inside of it, and I was like, oh, because when I was in college, this was the game. Like, this is what we were playing in between finals and like downtime and trying to really, you know, when we were trying to rest and figure everything out. And I just had so much fun with this. Obviously, it is not the best, but I still had so much fun making this, of course, and this game. If you have not played Robot Unicorn Attack, you must. The original and the new one is not so bad, but I did it on this giant Bristol board with markers, actually. I think this was one of my few marker pieces, and I think I was using my Prismacolor markers. I remember not being too happy about it because you can, as you can see these strokes no matter how fast or fluent I was trying to move to make everything blend well. I had a difficult time, except in here. But I'm really happy with my color palette choices, and my Robot Unicorn doesn't look that bad either. So yeah, that's that. That's one of my favorite pieces that I still really love and hang on to. Okay, this is gonna be hilarious. I'm pretty sure the assignment for this class, it was sort of like in the beginning of school, they had us doing classes that were for both graphic and illustrators, and they wanted you to design like a restaurant and come up with the concept and everything. Nightmare Before Christmas is my favorite, so I came up with a restaurant for Spiral Hill. I did this incredibly fast because it was a very large assignment and I was taking 5 studio classes at the same time. Again, my marker attempts, you know, this is, you know, honestly, given I hadn't had a lot of practice and I was just trying to go fast and complete it. These are just concept drawings and sketches, but I'm still pretty proud of like what I was able to acquire here. But I was making Spiral Hill the restaurant. And then I guess you had to, you know, you had to make the interior. So I thought the fountain from the middle of the town would look great, and then like maybe the wallpaper illuminated and you'd see the 0, and then like the tables would be tombstones, or the chairs rather would be tombstones, and the tables would be coffins, and there'd be the ghosts everywhere. Very rough, very sketchy, very old, but again, I liked my idea. Oh, and then I had to come up with a menu, so I thought this was cool. And just fun stuff, specials, deadly nightshade, frog's breath, snake and spider stew, worm's wort, all, you know, things that tie back into the movie, and like coming up with that was like really fun. Oh, and then I had to create an app for them. So like make their little thing and like menu directions, whatever. Obviously, was running out of time here, but while my execution may not have been 100%, you know, level, like I had to make their website and everything, I think my ideas were really in the right place. And then I had to do like advertisements for them. Come and try our specials if you dare, Oogie Boogie. Again, not a whole lot of practice with the markers outside grayscaling, and this is one thing that I really didn't like with the Prismacolor markers, because they don't blend or shade, or not blend, they don't blend as well as the Copics, and I hadn't had any Copics at the time. And then another advertisement with my girl, Sally. I was limited with my marker colors at the time, so if that's not correct, boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to eat something? This is something further down the line. I believe this was in my advanced painting class, and the whole time in painting class, they wanted you to use oils, and then they were like, at the last one, they're like, you can do whatever you want, and I think we had to show the passage of time. So I did myself, staying up late and working on artwork. And it's still, you know, it's very washed. It's very like not entirely complete stuff. But then again, I don't really have a problem like with this style. I think it worked really well for what I was trying to convey as the hours went by, trying to pull the all-nighter, showing the artist doing the work, and I was really pleased with myself at the time when I made this, and I don't think it came out too bad at all. It's not necessarily clean. My old watercolor style is very washy, but at the same time, you get what's going on, and I still really like this, and this was like kind of one of the stepping stones that helped me level up. This is a piece that is one of the final pieces for the watercolor class I was taking. Now, watercolor was an elective. You didn't have to take it. I took it, and that's how I found my outlet into it. So you never know. Take all the classes you could. And I was combining color pencils, and I kind of really, like, I don't want to say this, I kind of like half-assed it. Like a couple of them, I put a lot of work into. Like this one, you could tell I really put work into, but I had to make 5 of these. And in the watercolor class that I was taking, I was really discouraged because I put so much time into the assignments she gave, and then she would always give me like a B, but then anybody else who like did theirs the night before or like 5 minutes before class was getting an A, and I'm like, this is just shenanigans. This is concept illustration for a class where we had to design like layouts for merchandise, and I had to go into the store, find a cheap merchandise, and completely redo it. And one of them was dog treats, and of course I used Phoebe's my main muse, so any iteration of dachshunds I used, and I ended up putting this on a fake doggy treat thing and then building it out. I don't think I still have the box that I made out of this, but it came out really well and it was cute. This was the time during Dragon Age 2 when it overtook my life. I was basically going to school and playing Dragon Age 2 and working. But yeah, this isn't bad. I'm still learning my watercolors, but my layering and my texturing, I'm just having a whole lot of fun here figuring everything out, and I really enjoyed this. I think this was for another like fantasy illustration class where we had to design our own monsters. Had a lot of fun. Obviously, I love creating monsters. This is one of the pieces from the first show I ever did. So, there was a pen and think show, and dragons were always really my thing when I was younger. So, obviously, I was going to stick to what I knew. And the whole point, I believe, that I was making with mine, like, the whole thing with the pen and think show was it had to be all black and white, and then you had to add one splash of color. So I put the color in his eyes. And I don't know if I have the other piece with me. Maybe we'll find it. But yeah, I'm still really happy with this. And I came in and I was like, I'm going to do what I know, what I'm comfortable with. It was fun to have the first show ever. This is from sequential illustration class, in which I had to make daily comics because they don't have a whole lot of time. So basically you only have so much time. Of course, my focus was Phoebe, walking Phoebe, my dog, and people being like, oh my god, a doggy, and Phoebe goes, "Bleh," because her breath is awful. And then she runs away in fear, and Phoebe and I are giggling about it. And this is just a one slide one, where obviously you can tell there are cupcakes that are supposed to be on that table, and there's an awkwardly shaped cupcake formation in Phoebe's belly. This is I'm hungry, no food, no wallet, no money in the wallet, hot dog readily available. So like just in typical newspaper comics, like sometimes you have a couple slides and then sometimes it's just one slide telling the whole story. We had to do a couple of different those. I really like this little doodle of Phoebe as the hot dog. I think that's really cute. And then, this is one of my faves, up late working on my projects, then randomly, yeah! And I'd say, what the hell is that about? And she's like, it's too quiet. Phoebe used to do that. There would be nothing going on, and I'd just be working, and then she would just let out her bark, her little big dog bark, and scare the absolute crap out of me. So that was lot of the work that we had to do for classes, we would have to, if it was like digital, but no matter what the case is, we'd have to scan it and then put it on this black mat board so it would look professional. And this was for an illustration class in which I had to pick a book and then redo the illustration for the front of the book. And I read The Gun Seller by Hugh Laurie, very interesting. And although, you know, my art here is not the best, typical, just, oh, I did the old cell shade darkened version, and oh my god, what is this? But I still like my idea and my composition for this cover way better than the actual cover for The Gun Seller, which is cool, no offense. But again, like, it's cool because even though your skill might not be where you're at, it's getting you thinking about composition and be like, wow, look, I came up with some pretty cool compositions. My art wasn't the best, but that's not so bad. And then, oh, this might be bad. I forget what this was for. This is another illustration class thing that we were doing. Use a lot of microns, but I'm not quite sure what this was for. Oh my gosh, yes, finally. So, in typography class, we had to make our own font, completely from scratch. Guess what I made a font out of? That's right, wiener dogs. Drew each and every one myself, and now there's a wiener dog font. Well, I don't know if I have it on file, but I'm very proud of this. I obviously put a lot of time and effort into this, finding a simple style that would both convey that obviously it was a wiener dog and still be legible at the same time. But that was probably my favorite project in typography class. Oh, and the title of the typography was Hot Dog. Appropriate. Alright, here's probably one of the worst things I've done. I forget what the name of the class this was for, but it was a graphic design class and we had to make logos, and we could only do it in shapes. And obviously as an illustrator, I think of everything, you know, with lines too at the time. Now I build up all of, you know, everything I make with shapes. But back then, you know, it was really difficult. And of course, deadlines and all that other stuff. And I love dinosaurs. So I made the Clearwater, which is my hometown, Ceratops. And oh my god, this color palette, why? But I think I did a good job executing like the merchandise and properly placing it here. I think this would actually look like a reputable logo, maybe with different colors, and if I had added like a sheen or a shine or something to it. But this was just more or less teaching me how to use shapes instead of lines. Oh my god, look at how bad my people drawings were. Oh my. So for beginners watercolor class, the professor especially liked like floral illustrations, and of course no one wanted to do that, and she made it really difficult because she wanted us to go personally find the plant and take it from its seed form and how it fully grew into it, and we weren't allowed to use the internet. It's like, man, we all live in like the dorms or the apartments. Nobody's growing plants and no one can do the same thing. So we'd have to go to the library and look at the originals, but we weren't allowed to copy it. But it's like, she made it like near impossible. And I was like, whatever. But still, good learning and good practice for watercolor. See, look at how nonsense this is. You gotta do this kind of stuff before you can improve. Here we are, creme de la creme. One of my favorite projects ever. This is for a concept illustration or fantasy illustration. I had to make a concept Bible and a turnaround, and I was going to do a series of children's books in theory based on Phoebe and her adventures. This one would be Catch the Comet, in which Phoebe was going into outer space as a little astronaut, and I think this is my favorite little illustration. I just used to, back in the day, I used to just do microns and watercolors, and this is still really cute. And if you follow along on my Instagram, you'll notice I found the actual finished production Bible, and I said that I might want to revive this basically just for fun and for, you know, as a little kickoff and memoriam and appreciation for Phoebe and all she's been going through. I kind of want to turn this into maybe just like a little one-off comic, and I just really love this, and I'll just redo it and make it comic style. So look forward to something like this shortly in the future. This is for more graphic design and layout, which is good because right now I'm a visual artist and graphic design is kind of what I'm doing. But basically practicing taking out masks and masking, like all these images were different, and making the lighting look good and making it look like an actual poster, and I was pretty proud of this. I actually did well enough to where I was accepted my first year at the Art Institute. I was accepted into their special class where it would count as your job. Like, I forget what the name of the class was because I'm a freaking dweeb, but you took it and that would count as your internship, and you had to be personally selected. And the fact that they thought that my skills were good enough to be selected my first year there, I was like, wow. I'm pretty sure it was my first or third semester. This had to redesign the Mini Weeds box. I personally really like my design, and I think he's a whole lot more fun. I'm not the best with Illustrator. Illustrator and I are not friends, but I really dig, like, I had to make all the little baby mini weeds, and I like my color palette and how I executed it and my font, and I thought that was a whole lot of fun. Layout class was pretty fun. This was for mixed media. I forget what we had to do. We had to mix media and do things. This was an awful illustration, but I worked at Publix at the time. There's my little cameo. And people would eat the food and then leave it there. But I forget what the point of this illustration was for this project. Okay, I could go on forever, but I wanna really end on this note. I made the Deadpool poster. It was really cool for layout class. He let us come up with our own movie poster, and I think this poster was what he really enjoyed. My layout professor was like, okay, I'm recommending you. Oh, it's for Artemis. Artemis was the class in the group that you went into if they thought you were, you know, excelling, and they wanted you to use that as your internship, and it really helped me. But obviously this was during when Wolverine Origins came out, and everyone was like, yeah, let's get a Deadpool movie going. So I was really passionate about, and still am passionate about, Deadpool. So I had made this fake movie poster. Unfortunately, the only good picture I could get of him with this was not high resolution, but it didn't really matter because of all the effects that I used, but I'm still pretty happy with this. But yeah, so just a little look into some of my college work to show you guys where I started. I was not good at all. I'm still not that very good, but we're all getting there. So, if you guys enjoyed this little insight video, I wanted to do something for you while I'm in the middle of crazy packing. I'm a crazy person right now. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I just pack and I drive back and forth, and then I go home and I take care of my doggy and I make sure she's doing good, and then I pass out again and do it again. But the movers are coming tomorrow. I should be all the way moved into my mom's house, and hopefully I'll get that set. I'll do a new workspace tour once I have all of that taken care of, and then hopefully things will be settled and things will be going good, and I can art again. I am dying to art again. I've been trying to doodle if I can find a moment, but it's like killing me inside. I have so many ideas and things that I want to try and execute. You like my stuffed animals? My babies? Yeah, I'm 27, I have stuffed animals, okay? They make me feel good. They mean something to me. They're given to me by loved ones, okay? Don't judge. Anyways, thank you all so much for your amazing support. I love you to death, and I'll hope to see you soon in the next video. Love you guys. Have a great week.